It's all bad. It's all bad now. Jake Paul with the broken jaw has been suspended indefinitely. In this video, I'm going to break it down, let you know what you need to know. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I am back with some more boxing. Boom. I made this graphic for you. Jake Paul is officially suspended, right? Boom. What am I referring to? You go to his box rec and you see it. Jake Paul suspended by Florida Athletic Commission indefinitely. Now, this isn't a surprise. We know Jake Paul currently dealing with a broken jaw at the hands of a heavyweight, Anthony Joshua. Joshua, big dude, big puncher, just went through a tragic crash, and I've talked about that. Rest in peace to those involved that didn't make it. But as far as the fight, this is bad for Jake Paul. So what does this indefinite suspension mean? An indefinite suspension means you are suspended pretty much until you get a doctor's consent, like medical paperwork, or they do the proper x-ray. You have to submit all your medicals, show that the doctor is authorizing you to come back to the sport of boxing, right? Like sometimes when fighters get knocked out, like just a regular knockout, they'll put them on a suspension, but it's not necessarily an indefinite suspension. It'll be you can't fight for a period of time because you were just knocked out. Jake Paul, he is indefinitely suspended until he basically, as I just mentioned, submits the proper medical documentation, or, you know, a doctor's note, so to speak, showing that he is classified as being able to be an active fighter. Now, again, none of this is surprising. A broken jaw in two places. If anything, this is what I predicted. I am the GOAT, the best in the business, and it's not even close. I told you this fight was very foolish for Jake Paul, and it really was a reality check, because I told you that I'm not a doctor, but I've been around the sport. I know what I know. Jake Paul, having fought AJ and it playing out as it did, he gonna be out for 9 months to a year. And the fight just happened in December, right before Christmas. So the man's gonna be out. This is what I predicted. And me being the best in the business, and it's not even close, it looks like that is gonna be accurate. That's why he has an indefinite suspension. Jake Paul, he went to his show, the MVP show in Puerto Rico with Amanda Serrano, and was interviewed in between the fights. He said he has trouble sleeping, sometimes the pressure on his jaw or whatever, certain things he can't do. Obviously, he's probably not been able to eat some ribs or, you know what I mean, some grub like that. So reduced to liquids and softer foods, etc. So for me, this is a crazy reality check. And I really feel it puts Jake Paul back. It pushes him back in a lot of ways. What do I mean? I really feel that Jake Paul is a good salesman and he's a good showman. So in him doing that, especially having the complexion for the protection, let's be real, being a good speaker and riling people up and, you know, doing the content creation thing, plus having the complexion for the protection, you could get a lot of people to believe your messaging. We've seen it with Conor McGregor. Like Conor McGregor was like talking about he'll beat Floyd Mayweather, right? And then you had idiots like Skip Bayless who were like, yeah, Floyd has never faced power like Conor McGregor. Like, whatever, bro. And then when the fight happens, then they act like they didn't say all the stuff that they said and just dismiss it. Oh, Floyd was supposed to win. Then why'd you pick Conor McGregor? You know, oh, Anthony Joshua was supposed to win. Why'd you pick Jake Paul? Why did Drake and Aiden Ross and DDG and all these people, why did they bet? And DDG was like, I know boxing. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to boxing. Okay, then why'd you bet on somebody who pretty much everyone in boxing was like, if it is not rigged or fixed or whatnot, it should be a long night for Jake Paul. Anthony Joshua should win. So monetary gain is definitely cool. Money's a tool. I believe in that. But for me, this is just pointless because, again, you made a lot of money. You got the viewership, but now the ship is potentially sinking, and the rebuild, I feel like if he didn't have a broken jaw, then it wouldn't be as bad. That's my honest opinion. But taking another loss, and then on top of it, you have a broken jaw to boot, that just really puts Jake Paul in a really weird kind of crossroad transitional period. And I firmly believe that Jake Paul, in his ability to convince or sell or whatnot, I feel like people gave him a bit more grace and thought he was further along. He was talking about he wanted to fight Terrence Crawford. He was calling out Canelo Alvarez. He was saying that he could beat, I think he even called out Deontay Wilder, right? Because Deontay Wilder spoke on his fight being fixed or something with Anthony Joshua, right? So what I've noticed in combat sports, the trash talk is fine and you could do it and people are going to buy in. But once you get to that moment where you can't cash in on them checks that you maybe, like Tyron Woodley check, you cashed. The Anderson Silva check, you cashed. Ben Askren, right? All these fights that you did win, you cashed those checks. So it was all good for you, right? But then when you're like an over talker, trash talker in that kind of realm, and you get a broken jaw and you get humbled and you get pushed back down the ladder, even though you have star power, it really sets you back, in my opinion. Because we're talking about, I get it, he started boxing late, but you got 14 fights and you already have 2 losses and you've already been knocked out. So you have like a baby Lomachenko type of a record right here, you know, where you don't really have that many fights. Your knockout percentage is dropping 58% because when you stepped up with Tommy Fury and Anthony Joshua, you weren't able to knock them out. Then to think you were going to go from Gervonta Davis to Anthony Joshua, again, like I told you, you didn't really see me overly promoting the fight because I thought the fight was weird. In what world, like, what world would a boxer, like, okay, for example, Shakur Stevenson is a clinical boxer, but you've seen when his fight, a tough fight with Floyd Schofield, when it dropped out, Floyd Schofield's like, oh, I've been poisoned, and they had to get a late replacement. Shakur didn't like call in Rambo. You know, he got him a Padley. So that's coming from someone like Shakur tells you himself, I've been boxing since the age of 5 or whatever, right? So a lifelong dedicated boxer is not generally making that type of jump with only 30 days left in camp or whatever, right? Where you're going to go from a much smaller lightweight to somebody who's on a complete. Tank Davis is 5'6" and 130 pounds, 135 pounds, right? And I'm not saying Tank would have lost, but it's just a completely different dynamic when you have a huge weight advantage. Tank would have to, stay safe and find his way on the inside, get through the longer arms and stuff. But to go from that to 6'6" Anthony Joshua, like, this is night and day. And the only way the Joshua kind of thing would work is possibly if you fought like a UFC heavyweight where they have striking hands for the UFC, but not necessarily boxing hands. Maybe you can deal with that size differential if they didn't also have the experience and Olympic gold medalist like Anthony Joshua. You see what I'm saying? So it just always seemed like a bridge too far. And I told you, for me, I'm just gonna watch it because it seems so weird that I'm wondering, is there a catch to it? Like, imagine somebody stops you and they're like, here's the keys to a brand new car. You're gonna be wondering, like, is it a stolen car? Is it like a scam? Is it a setup scam likely? What is up? Because it just, people aren't gonna hand you, here, take the keys. That sounds like a setup. You know what I mean? And that's exactly how I approached this particular fight with Joshua. It just seemed like a bait car. You know how the police have a little sting and they'll set up a car in the hood, and then when you steal it, the engine block shut off and then they arrest you. You know what I mean? And you can't drive it no more. And the car just stopped. That's what it felt like. Because I was like, how is Jake Paul really finna beat Joshua unless he's completely like trashed from the Dubois loss? So now that you have a broken jaw, you're out for the foreseeable future. None of this looks good. And just like Conor McGregor, that trash talking and the ability to content create, it only goes but so far when now both times you fought a boxer, you came up short. Tommy Fury and Anthony Joshua. When you fought a boxer about your size and not completely like washed or undersized or 50 years old, or, you know what I mean? Like Mike Tyson was 55, 58 or whatever. Hi, it's me, Mike Tyson. Kept my fight with Jake Paul. I'm going to fight Jake Paul on Netflix. I want to fight him on Netflix. Come watch my fight and scram. You know what I mean? Like, that, we're not talking about the same thing. Joshua is more, he's not in prime, but he's not a 58-year-old man who's been out the sport for 25 years either. You know what I mean? Who smokes pot and does mushrooms. So I don't really know where Jake Paul goes from here because, again, this is a bad look. You're suspended by the Florida Commission indefinitely until your medicals approve you to come back, which most people in that field, they're going to say 9 months to a year or better. And then now I feel like you're going to have to step down the competition. You're going to have to go back to fighting like the August Alsina or whatever dude you fought, people like that, or more MMA fighters, or more like kind of more gimmicky fights. You know, are you going to really fight a Murat Gassiev, a Deontay Wilder, a Usyk coming off a broken jaw? Probably not. So in the business sense, you've already fought Mike Tyson, and then you fought Joshua. The numbers were less than half, right? With Tyson, you did 75 to 100 mil. With Joshua, it was less than Crawford and Canelo by a little bit. You know what I mean? And the numbers went down. Now you have a broken jaw. So what person could you fight? It will be interesting. But for me, what person can you fight that is realistic for you to win, that would jog up the numbers to the point where you could try to break some of your old records? You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying he's in between a rock and a hard spot. Let me know what you think. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.